Hello there everyone, it's me Harry, and this is a brand new video. Namely, it's a video game collection video, because I haven't done one of these in a little while. Well, not ever since I did my PS1 update video a couple of months ago. But I felt like I wanted to do another one, and it's towards my favourite Nintendo console, the GameCube. Yes, the good old GameCube. Nintendo first console to use discs, although they were proprietary mini-discs. And as such, there was quite a good amount of titles on it. Not as many as the PlayStation 2 or the Xbox. Well, especially the PS2, because it was the best-selling console of all time and still is today. But there's still plenty. And there we are. Most of my titles are third-party titles, as you'd probably know already. I prefer collecting third-party games. But I do have some Nintendo titles as well. So we're going to start off with some GameCube launch titles, in which I do actually have quite a few of the launch titles in Europe. So this part's going to go through the games released in 2002, because I have quite a lot of them from then. I'm going to start off with Super Monkey Ball, the classic Sega arcade game. Now on the GameCube, developed by Amusement Vision and published by Sega, and distributed by Infogrames. Released on the 3rd of May 2002. The next few games are all released on that day as well. That's the day when the GameCube launched in the UK. And of course, Super Monkey Ball was also a launch title in North America and Japan as well. I think it was the only third-party GameCube game to launch in Japan at the time, when it came out on November 14th, 2001. Next up is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Sonic the Hedgehog's Nintendo debut. Developed by Sonic Team USA, published by Sega, distributed by Infogrames. And this is an enhanced port of the Dreamcast classic of the same name, with the same story but with some additional features. There we are. Let's just see if there was anything on the packaging on the back. There isn't. Next up is another Sega classic on the Dreamcast, Crazy Taxi. This is a port of the PlayStation 2 version, developed by Acclaim Studios Cheltenham and published by Acclaim Entertainment. It's pretty much the same as the Dreamcast and the PS2 versions, so not much else to say about it otherwise. And since it's an Acclaim title, there's an advert on the back as well for 18-wheeler. Next up is Extreme G3, another PlayStation 2 port, in itself being the very first Extreme G game on a non-Nintendo console, although the second game was on the PC as well. Also from Acclaim Studios Cheltenham and Acclaim Entertainment. Here we are. And at the back of the manual of this one has an ad for Burnout, which I do not have on the GameCube yet. Funnily enough, the Xbox version of that game came out on the same day as well. So that's kind of fascinating. Next up is Driven, based on the film of the same name, and it's another PlayStation 2 port, developed by BAM Studios Europe and published by BAM Entertainment. And why there's a movie tie-in in this, I have no idea, but there you go, it's a launch title. A pretty bad one, in my eyes. It's kind of what you'd be expecting from BAM Entertainment. So, there we are. Donald Duck Quack Attack, or Donald Duck Going Quackers, a port of a game released in 2000. This is based on the PlayStation 2 version as well. It has much of the same features and the additional moves that Donald can unlock in the game. There we are. And on the back of that, there's an ad for Disney's Tarzan Free Ride. So this was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft, obviously. And the same goes with Tarzan Free Ride, which is, yep, another PlayStation 2 port. Here we are. And the ad on the back of this one is obviously Donald Duck Quack Attack. And And then last but not least in the launch title selection is Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2, or Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. There we are. Developed by Factor 5, published by LucasArts, distributed by Activision. Although it doesn't list Activision on the back of the packaging. So this was a GameCube exclusive. The Rogue Leader, the Rogue Squadron games haven't been ported to other systems as far as I'm aware. And then, yeah, there's nothing on the back. And now we're on to the next titles. 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker, another Sega Dreamcast port from Acclaim Studios Cheltenham and Acclaim. But this time this one was released on May the 31st, 2002, which is kind of surprising because this is another PS2 port. So I don't know what the late release was for, but there you go. And of course there's an ad for Burnout as well. Released on June the 7th, 2002 is Jeremy McGrath Supercross World. Yep, you know what I'm going to say next. PS2 port. And it came out far later for some reason. I like the green packaging in this, especially the disc. It's a very nice bright green colour. And the back of that has an ad for Extreme G3, which is strange because wouldn't it be more fitting to have Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2 being advertised on the back because they were part of the same lineup? I don't know. But yeah, this was done by Acclaim Studios Salt Lake City. Next up is Legends of Wrestling, another PS2 port, and was also done by Acclaim Studios Salt Lake City, and also released on June the 7th, 2002. There isn't much else to say about this one. It's just the PS2 port, and that's pretty much all I really have to say about it. And there's an ad for Burnout on the back as well. Of course, they really had to advertise Burnout in some way, and that's what they had to do. Now we're going over to a bit of a long skip, and now we have ZooCube, another Acclaim title, developed by Puzzle Kings and Coyote Console, and was released on August the 30th, 2002. Here we are, nice bright yellow disc this time. And, yep, another ad for Burnout. But it's a different one this time, interestingly enough. Next up is Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse, developed by Capcom, published by Nintendo under license from Disney. And this was released on September the 13th, 2002. So it's it's Mickey Mouse's debut in the new dimension. And it was part of like an exclusive partnership Nintendo had with Disney at the time for Mickey Mouse video games. With some of the first ones being Mickey Speedway USA and whatnot. Because it's a Nintendo published game, there's all sorts of Nintendo advertisements on the back as well. And the sequel, which I don't have, was published and developed by Capcom. So Nintendo wasn't involved with that one. Turok Evolution. This is one of my oldest GameCube games in my collection. I've had this since I started collecting back in 2014. And this came out on September the 27th, 2002. I think this came out a few weeks after the PS2 and Xbox versions, which is odd because the Turok series originated on a Nintendo system. Here we are. And on the back of that is an ad for Vex, which didn't come out until 2003, but yet there's packaging and all right there. Developed by Acclaim Studios Austin. And then also released on September the 27th, 2002 is WWE WrestleMania X8, or WrestleMania 18. The very first WWE licensed game on the system. Although it was a pretty basic one. It paled in compared to Shut Your Mouth, which came out a few months later on the PS2, but I'm guessing it was a little better than Raw on the Xbox, which felt like a big beta than anything. Here we are. And then on the ad on the back is for MX Superfly. Another game released on September the 27th, 2002 is Beach Spikers Virtua Beach Volleyball, an arcade game port from Sega again. Developed by Sega AM2 and published by Sega, distributed by Infogrames. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I really have to say about this title. It's just beach volleyball with guys and gals in it. Released on October the 4th, 2002 is Taz Wanted, developed by Blitz Games and published by Infogrames. The very first Looney Tunes title released for a next-gen platform that wasn't a port, because Looney Tunes Space Race was a Dreamcast port, even though the Dreamcast is a next-gen system, but never mind about that. And this came out a week after the PS2 and Xbox versions, I think. And I've had this copy for quite a long time as well. So it's not in the best shape. Next up is Smuggler's Run Warzones, developed by Angel Studios and published by Rockstar Games. This is the only Rockstar title that was ever released on the GameCube. And this came out on October the 25th, 2002. No, 18th of October 2002, sorry, I wasn't reading the right one. So it's a port of Smuggler's Run 2 on the PS2, so yep, another PlayStation 2 port. And while Take-Two Interactive did release other titles on the system, as I said, this is the only game under the Rockstar banner that was released for the GameCube. Because normally you'd see that banner on more mature titles, and the GameCube wasn't really a mature system, according to some. Released on the 1st of November 2002 is Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. Developed by Traveller's Tales, ported by Eurocom, and published by Universal Interactive, i.e. Vivendi Universal Games. So this isn't a very good port, and it was heavily based on the Xbox version, and you can tell it was. It just wasn't powerful enough. There we are. A nice yellow disc, even though it's in a pretty basic font. And the ad on the back is Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. But for Crash Bandicoot's debut on a Nintendo console, not including the handhelds, I'm guessing that was fine. Big Air Freestyle, developed by Paradigm Entertainment and published by Infogrames, released on the 8th of November 2002. So this is another PS2 port, this time of the game MX Rider, which was previously released under the Atari banner. But this one is just, it's the same game, just without the license. There we are. Nothing much else to say about this one. It's a pretty common title. I mean, you won't find it for expensive. Top Gun Combat Zones, another port from the PS2. And this also came out on the same day, the 8th of November 2002. Developed by Digital Interrogation and published by Titus Interactive. And distributed by Virgin Interactive. So, I'll say this, while it is, a Top Gun licensed game, it doesn't really have much connection with the films, if at all. So, don't really expect much coming from that game. I actually think Titus may have paid more than the budget that was made for that game, if you get what I mean. Here's another title that I've had for quite a long time. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, released on the 15th of November 2002. So the first of the Pipeworks Godzilla games, developed obviously by Pipeworks Software and published by Infogrames. And this was one of the few titles that they released under the Atari banner before they became Atari. Not much else to say here. Just a stock standard manual and everything. Also released on the same day is Die Hard Vendetta, developed developed by Bits Studios and published by Vivendi Universal Games. So this was originally a GameCube exclusive, and then it was ported to the PlayStation 2 and Xbox in Europe. So in the States it's always been a GameCube exclusive, but it's just a new entry in the Die Hard franchise. So there you go. Next up is another PS2 port, Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, developed by Heavy Iron Studios and published by THQ, and was released on, if I can even read it right, 22nd of November 2002. So yeah, you control Scooby and save everyone this time round, rather than the gang splitting up and doing their usual mumbo-jumbo. There we are. And the advert on the back for this one is of the Scooby-Doo movie Game Boy Advance tie-in. Disney's Donald Duck PK released on the 29th of November 2002, alongside the PlayStation 2 version. Developed by one of Ubisoft studios, I've forgotten which one, and published by Ubisoft. Not a great game, actually. And then here is Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, which was released on the 29th of November 2002 as well. Developed by Check 6 Studios and some other company. I don't know how. I'm just trying to read what it says. In Trucks Digital Entertainment or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, here's the disc, which is a nice bright purple colour. Probably better than the game itself. And then the back of that is an ad for Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex and Crash Bandicoot XS, which is known in North America as Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure. Released on the 6th of December 2002 is another movie tie-in, The Scorpion King, Rise of the Akadan. There we are. Developed by Point of View and published by Vivendi Universal Games under the Universal Interactive banner again. And this time we get a nice bright orange disc. And the ad on the back is for Spyro Enter the Dragonfly and Spyro Season of Ice. No, Season of Flame. It's the sequel to Season of Ice. Don't know why I messed that up. Also on the same day is Nickelodeon Party Blast, developed by Data Design Interactive, which I'm pretty certain you're all familiar with, and published by Infogrames. And it's a party game with Nickelodeon characters in it, but it's not a good one. I think you remember that from the review I did many years ago. There we are. And last but not least in this part is Monster Jam Maximum Destruction. Once again, released on the same day. And, yeah, developed by, I don't know what the company is. I believe it. I think it may have been developed by a Ubisoft division in-house or something. I don't know. The PS2 version of this was actually the very first video game I've ever played. So that's saying something. So there we are. That's it for this part. And in part 2, we're going to take a look at the games released in 2003. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.